Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Kevin, here with another Angry Snowboarder review, and today we're going to be talking about the Winterstick Seth Wescott Pro. So the camber on this guy is mostly just traditional camber dominant with a little bit of rocker release in the tail and a little bit in the nose, but not much, basically just enough to release your contact points so it doesn't feel grabby. This board comes in a 148, 152, 156, 160, 164, 156 wide, 160 wide, and a 164 wide. I rode this with my K2 Lean ATs and my DC Tuck Knees in a size 8, and I rode it at Breck on a pretty average later mid-ish spring kind of day, where in the shade the snow is still pretty super firm and hard, and then in the sun it's starting to soften up as the day went on. So I got a pretty good mix of conditions because of that. So I was able to get into some spring chunder as well as some honestly kind of hard snow because it frozen overnight, and then in the shade hadn't thawed out yet. So I was able to get this to, feel the edges on both soft snow, how it pushed through that kind of conditions, as well as that really hard snow. So the flex on this is a little bit directional. It's not crazy directional, but you do have a little bit softer nose, and it basically gradually stiffens up all the way through the tail, and the tail is definitely going to be the stiffest part of your board. It's not a demanding flex. It's something that's relatively easy to get on and just go snowboard on, which is awesome. So it lands right around that middle of the road for an all-mountain board. Torsional flex pretty much matched it pretty well, and I think that's kind of what I like. I don't like a board to have a drastically different torsional flex than it is tip to tail. So right around middle of the road for an all-mountain flex between the feet, it allows you to foot steer it a little bit as long as you had some power and at a little bit higher speeds. And then that tail just had a really nice kind of powerful tail to it, but not an overbearing flex. So you're able to get into the tail, you're able to snap it. You didn't have to consciously think about, all right, I'm about to pop, I gotta load it. So it's not that stiff, but definitely has a more supportive flex to it throughout the tail. This thing stayed composed through just about any conditions I could really put it through. So turning really hard or going super fast through just about any of those variable conditions that I was riding this guy in, it stayed its line. It held onto its line, it held onto its edge, it never got bucked, but at the same time it wasn't a dead flex. It had a liveliness to it, it had some energy to it. So I was able to move it around and get it to snap in and out of turns, but it always held its line and it always stayed composed and quiet throughout that entire time. So this had definitely above average snap to it. I felt like it really was able to give me a little bit more than I really ever asked it for. But it was never really the poppiest board I've ever been on. So it's not gonna blow you away. You're not gonna get on it and boost to the absolute moon with it. But it's always gonna be as much or a little bit more than you really need out of it. And over the years, honestly, that's what I prefer out of a board. I don't honestly like being surprised by the amount of snap that comes out of a board, because that just means landing flat, landing too far, and then my knees hurt and my back hurts, and that's not fun. So this has honestly my favorite kind of snap to it. Load the camber, you do have to load it, it is traditional camber and a little bit stiffer flex. So load that camber, push through the tail, and you're gonna be in the air as much as you need to be. Butterability on this, I mean, it's not really designed for that, pretty much at all. It's designed as Seth Wescott's board, and he used to race, I guess. So that's really what it's more designed for, is going fast and turning. So hey, that's what it's really better at. Now, high speed, ollie, throw your tail into the ground, it'll do that, and it's not bad at it, and it's kind of fun, but actual like laying into it, butter and spreading, no, not really. Don't even bother with it, it's not that fun. Carving is definitely the defining characteristic of this board. It has a really well defined side cut that matches really well to the flex, both tip to tail and torsionally for this board. Really quick, snappy turns, have a ton of energy to them. They pop you in and out. It feels super lively. Medium, kind of more quick, follow line turns. They don't take a ton of effort. It locks in really well, and it snaps from edge to edge. And then really long, blasted, drawn out turns. It's super stable. It holds its line, and it just keeps going. It snaps from edge to edge really well, and then on top of that, you can lay this thing over, throw your arm out, throw your hand down, and it's just gonna keep turning and keep turning and keep turning. As hard as you want to turn, it wants to turn harder. Who is this board for? Well, Winterstick says it's the one board quiver for a dude like Seth Wescott, and honestly, I kind of agree with him. I think it's really good for somebody that's not really looking to ride any sort of park really whatsoever, but is looking to do kind of everything else and looking for one board to do everything else with. So I just talked about what this is really built for, and as it being a one board quiver for generally people that aren't looking to ride park. And I agree with that so much that this is actually really dang close to how I would design a one board quiver for myself. It just has all the right medium-ish features to it, and that's kind of where I like to land, is right around average for most stuff, but with a side cut that absolutely rails. And then it is a little bit directional. It's got more nose than tail, so it floats pretty good in deep snow. I was able to get it into some little micro pockets just to see how it reacted into some deep snow, and it sits up just great, so it feels exactly how I want it to feel for floating in deep snow, and it carves crazy good. And that's what I do most, is I just like to turn. So this is really dang close to what I would design for myself as a one board quiver, so it gets a pretty big 2 thumbs up from me. Thanks for watching. This has been my review of the Winterstick Seth Wescott Pro. What did you think? Have you ridden this board in the past? Do you think it lives up to the $1,000+ price tag that they put on this guy? Let's have a conversation about it. While you're doing that, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notifications when this is coming out. And if you want to support us, keep these projects coming, check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more, but there's a video for that, and it's going to be able to give you the details way better than I ever would. Thanks for watching, and come back for the next video.